Hi, welcome again to Vista Serena. I'm Malcolm Clark, and this is our fabulous ceanothus, which has been amazing us since January with masses of flowers, and the bees have been going crazy around it. Incredible to believe it was such a small thing like this in a 2-litre pot, I think about 2 years ago or less. Anyway, it's been a long time getting this next video out because I've spent an awful lot of time repairing or making good the fencing, which was never really totally finished, and pigs have been getting in the valley and choring up the land and chucking plants out that I'm planting. So it's been a huge amount of work, but hopefully from now on I'll be able to get videos out more regularly. It's amazing how many flowers have been in bloom during the winter. It's been quite a mild winter. This osteospermum's gone on the whole time, and it's only just now coming to an end, and the solanum here, the potato bush, has had quite a good display all through the winter despite strong winds and cold, and the Lamplanthus has been out for about a month, I would say. The Mediterranean garden here is really beginning to take shape, and this grevillea has been stunning throughout the whole winter, and it's been full of bumblebees all the time on a sunny day. It's really starting to spread now and helping to fix the bank and protect it from erosion. Muscari coming out, and then we have many flowers, but they're dividing quite well. I'm going to split those up later and move some. And the wallflowers have been fantastic, such as there were. Only a few survived. It's been there for about 2 years, I think, before it finally flowered. Here's Sophie just helping with the weeding. Lately been very interested in a mole, which we've managed to get rid of, I think, with one of those sonic devices that you stick in the ground. Slightly irritating noise, but obviously also irritates the moles, because we haven't seen it since. Oh, she. It's amazing what's seeding itself into the beach stones that we put around the house. Helichrysum here, Verbena bonariensis, even night-scented stocks, all jumping into the stones and growing quite happily without any attention. Felicia here has been wonderful and kept a few flowers all through the winter. This was March, and under the garage, because there's no sun there, we turned that into a fern bed. I like the way that as the gardening calendar ticks by, these little jobs come round regular as clockwork, and they kind of mark the season, like taking out these bean sticks, for instance, and in no time at all I'll be putting in new ones next year for next year's beans. Anyway, one job that has only come round once is the huge job of making the pond and doing all the waterworks down in the valley. So this was the start of the pond. When we dug, or when the digger man dug, we found that the soil was so loose we had to do a lot of block work to support the walls of it. Otherwise I was afraid there'd be some collapsing going on on the shelves each side where the streams run in and out. I've made containers for plants that could be a bit vigorous with their roots so that they don't damage the liner. And it was quite a long process from start to finish, and in the middle those are 3 lily beds. So it's finally in and more or less finished. The Olympic frog pool. And here's the first competitor practicing his high dive. This is where the stream water from one stream enters the pool. Haven't finished lining it yet with cement and stones. On the other side, another stream, when it runs, enters. This is the other end of the pond, and the stream runs out both sides. There's a little trickle coming out of both sides at the moment. Not a lot of rain coming in, because water coming in, because it hasn't actually rained much throughout this winter so far. And here it runs out off of our land and on down the valley to eventually wind up in a stream right down at the bottom, and I suppose eventually into a reservoir somewhere. Over the other side, by the well, we discovered this lovely old set of stone steps which I'd done a bit of a repair job to at the bottom, and so now we can use that. A great many stones were going into making this stream. Before, the stream would just drain it into the ground, so it would never reach the pond from where it emerges. So I'm lining the stream bed with plastic and then a bit of cement with some colouring in it so it doesn't look too much like cement. And then on top I dress it with a layer of small stones which we find in the soil here, by the thousand. When it's wet, you don't see much of the colour, but when it goes off, the cement, then the colour starts to emerge. And depending on what colours you use and how much you put in, you can adjust the tone and get a nice brown colour, or whatever colour you want. This is the anti-slug and snail bed in which we grow all the lettuce, and it works fantastically well, 100% effective. I've put a little video at the end of this which shows you the construction method for it. It's quite involved but worth the effort. But having said that, since installing this, I've clumsily broken quite a few tiles whilst extracting roses which were temporarily healed in the bed next door. And it's been like this for about 3 or 4 months. And we've had other things being eaten by slugs, but even so, no slugs have entered this bed. So it may be that just the roughness of the cement blocks and the height, and then the rough underside of the tiles of the top, which are pretty well intact, are enough to prevent them getting in. The idea with this is that the lower ledge holds salt, and which they won't try to cross because they seem to know that it's not good for them. Not good for cats either. And So I'm going to build another experimental bed with just with blocks and the row of tiles around the top, and see if that's enough to keep them out. And I'll let you know the results. But meanwhile, if you want to try and build one of these beds, the video is after this. Well, Madame Alfred here seems to be doing fantastically. I think it's just the right spot for us. She gets sun until about 1, maybe 2 o'clock, depending on the time of year. And then she's protected by the wall here, so it doesn't get blasted by the hot afternoon sun. Next time I'd like to take for a little look around various parts of the garden, because there's lots of different kinds of environment, and show you what seems to have done well and why I think it's done well. So until next time.